Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a proven, no-nonsense, 5-step action plan to break free from debt in South Africa. Look, in 2026, getting out of debt isn't just a fun exercise in financial literacy, it is absolutely about survival. It's about peace of mind and reclaiming your future from institutions that literally profit off your stress. The cost of living has fundamentally shifted, which means a lot of the old advice is just obsolete now. So if debt is constantly on your mind, keeping you up at night, and making you feel like you're just running on a hamster wheel, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break down the exact strategies you need to take back control.
We've got to start with a pretty staggering reality. Right now, the average South African owes 62.2% of their disposable income. Just let that sink in for a second. That means 62 cents of every single rand you earn is already gone before it even properly hits your bank account. It's gone before you buy a loaf of bread, pay for a taxi, fill up your tank, or even put a roof over your head. When you realize the vast majority of your hard-earned cash belongs to someone else before the month even begins, well, it's terrifying. It's a massive, crushing burden. But listen, you are far from alone if you feel trapped by it. Millions of people are fighting this exact same battle every single day.
And here is the real danger fueling this whole national debt crisis, the vicious, high-interest trap of local store accounts. We usually think of massive mortgages or huge car loans as the primary problem, mostly just because the numbers are so big, right? But actually, it's these everyday smaller accounts charging up to 21% interest that are quietly bleeding households dry. When you're paying 21% interest, those balances are compounding and growing way faster than you can reasonably pay them down with just minimum payments. You end up taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back, completely trapped at a mathematical disadvantage.
So, let's look at exactly why this financial squeeze is happening across the country right now. With electricity tariffs jumping another 13% this year and average take-home pay stubbornly sitting somewhere between 15 and 23,000 rand, there's barely anything left at the end of the month. The math simply doesn't add up for a normal household anymore. Debt naturally fills that gap just so families can survive and put food on the table. But here's the catch. Every month you carry those balances forward, you're essentially paying the bank or the retailer a premium just to stay poor. We have to stop that cycle immediately, and that requires a radically different approach to your cash flow.
Okay, let's jump right into the action plan. Step 1, stop the bleeding.
Before you can even think about paying off what you owe, you have to completely stop adding to your debt right now. In our country, the biggest traps are specific store accounts. We're talking Edgar's, Woolworths, Mr. Price, Truworths. They feel incredibly convenient when you're standing at the till and the cashier asks if you want to open an account to save a quick 100 rand, right? But they charge some of the absolute highest legal interest rates available to consumers. They are intentionally designed to keep you on the hook, making minimum payments for years. That effectively makes a simple pair of jeans cost 3 times its original price by the time you actually own it.
The absolutely crucial point here is to physically and digitally remove the temptation entirely. Cut the cards today. Literally, go grab a pair of scissors and destroy them. Delete the shopping apps from your phone. Dig into your web browser and remove your saved credit card details so that buying something online takes actual, annoying effort. Unsubscribe from those retailer emails that constantly bait you with massive weekend sales. You've got to stop swiping for absolutely anything that isn't a dire emergency. No clothes, no takeaways, no new electronics. You simply cannot fill a bucket while the tap is still running. Stop creating new debt so we can clear the old debt.
Moving right along to step 2, map your debt. To conquer this, you have to confront the uncomfortable truth and write down every single rand you owe. I know, most people just keep a rough, optimistic number in their heads because actually seeing the real total on paper is genuinely scary. But avoiding it won't make it disappear. Grab a pen and paper or open a spreadsheet and create 3 columns: creditor, balance, and interest rate. Write it all down. The store account, the personal loan, the credit card, the money you owe a family member, even the outstanding gym membership. Put down the total balance, and crucially, you must find and write down the exact interest rate for each one. Because, you cannot win a war you refuse to look at. This list becomes your ultimate blueprint for freedom. Getting it out of your head and onto paper is incredibly empowering.
Which brings us to step 3, choose your strategy.
Now that your map is clearly laid out, you get to choose your specific debt-destroying weapon. This really depends on your personality and what keeps you motivated. You've got 2 proven choices here. First is the debt snowball method. This is where you pay minimums on absolutely everything, but throw all your extra cash at your smallest debt first, totally ignoring the interest rate. It builds incredible momentum because clearing those small accounts gives you quick, psychological wins. On the other hand, we have the debt avalanche method.
Here, you attack the highest interest rates first, like those nasty 21% store accounts we talked about. Mathematically, the Avalanche saves you the most money over time, so if you know you need quick wins to not give up, pick the Snowball. If you're deeply analytical and want to save every possible cent, pick the Avalanche. Both work beautifully for sure, you just have to commit to one.
All right, step 4, find extra cash.
Now, those repayment strategies only work if you actually have extra money to throw at the debt, right? You need to find an extra 500 to 2,000 Rand every single month to truly accelerate your progress. And you can rapidly free up cash by doing a few ruthless things this week. First, go through your bank statements line by line and cancel those forgotten subscriptions, Netflix, Showmax, DSTV, or that gym contract you never use. Next, commit to cooking at home for 30 straight days. Cutting out takeaways and restaurants is the biggest discretionary expense for most households. It can easily save you up to 2,000 Rand a month. Finally, look around your house. Sell old electronics, clothes, or furniture on local WhatsApp groups, Facebook Marketplace, or Gumtree. Seriously, one good sale from an old phone sitting in a drawer can knock out an entire small debt in a single weekend.
And finally, step 5, negotiate your rates. This right here is the secret weapon most people never try. I know it sounds intimidating, but actually picking up the phone and calling your creditors is one of the most mathematically effective things you can do. If you just ask your bank or credit provider, interest rate reductions of 3 to 7 percentage points are incredibly common, especially for customers with a reasonable payment history of over a year. Think about what dropping a 21% interest rate down to 14% does for your monthly cash flow. The banks would much rather lower your interest rate and keep you paying than have you completely default. It costs you absolutely nothing to ask, it only takes about 10 minutes of bravery, and it can save you thousands of Rands over the life of your loans.
Now, if you're feeling completely overwhelmed by the thought of those phone calls, or your debt is simply too high to manage alone, you can absolutely reach out to the National Debt Helpline at 0861 886 786. Listen, there is zero shame in asking for help. They are a free service dedicated to helping South Africans negotiate with creditors, restructure loans, and set up affordable repayment plans that actually fit your current income. Please don't struggle in silence when free, professional, and empathetic help is literally just a phone call away.
To quickly wrap up this explainer, here is your definitive 5-step action plan to reclaim your financial freedom starting today. 1. Stop using credit and store accounts immediately to stop the bleeding. 2. Write down every single debt you owe to map your battlefield. 3. Pick either the Snowball or Avalanche method. 4. Ruthlessly cut your expenses to throw extra cash at your balance. And 5. Call your creditors to negotiate a lower rate.
Remember, debt is not a life sentence. It is just a mathematical problem with a clear, actionable solution. And that solution starts with the conscious decision you make today. You've got the tools, you have the roadmap, and now it's just about taking that terrifying first step. So I want to leave you with this question to answer in the comments as you take back control of your finances. What is your biggest debt challenge right now? Think about it, write it down, and let's get to work on destroying it.